Gundam.tk presents Berga Giros. Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net, and today I'm happy to bring you part 2 of my review of the Berga Giros from Gundam F91. You've seen all the plates from the earlier part, and now they're all empty, which means the parts have been put together. So let's check those out to see what kind of quality you can expect from a 1991 non-grade 1/100th kit. For the main body, you're going to have the legs, of course, with the waist and chest attached there. I've got one of the arms and shoulders separated to go along with the head. Extras include the shelf nozzle there, the shot lancer, and the clear shield. When you see this guy put together, it's not going to be completely out of the box because I've added some silver down here for the shot lancer and some yellow on there for the Captain America type wing-a-ling dings. Bottom to top, you are going to get the two colors here on the legs as throughout most of the body. And what you're going to get for bends, well, first of all, for the hips, you're just going to have a polycap inside there, which is going to attach on. And the bend of the leg, you're going to get not 90, so don't expect anything fancy in terms of articulation. But it's interesting that it can actually rotate around because it's just on a polycap there, which sticks into some purple part there, which serves as the inner frame, interestingly enough, and actually protrudes through here. Looks like this should be painted up in yellow or gold or something like that, so if you wanted to do that before putting it together, that would actually work well, I suppose. You're going to have some purple down here for the shin protectors, and that's okay. You've got some places there to do some lining. It's just unfortunate that this other part, which is big enough to certainly warrant a plastic piece, is going to be done in a seal. So you'll have the seal and the purple right beside each other for the plastic, and overall it doesn't look too bad until you get up close. Inside you can see that there's a thruster on here, and that's going to wiggle around there. And maybe you can make out that purple inner frame on the inside there, and you can see that the foot is going to move this far forward, this far back, and off to the side like this. When I look at this up close, I think I painted the wrong parts. I really should have gone for some purple paint on here. Anyway, in terms of the chest and body and the waist section here, you're going to have thrusters on the back which don't move. This is where you're going to attach the shelf nozzles. You've also got purple parts on the side, which I don't believe should move. That's probably just sticking out too much. You can see that the rear skirt is locked into place. The side skirts are going to move out this much. Front skirts are independent, but they're hardly going to move at all. They're not going to rotate forward, so don't expect any Char-style kicking. But once you get up to the top, you can see that the arms are just going to attach in. You can actually look all the way through the upper body there, which is something you don't see on newer kits. A good purple part there, but the big complaint is going to be here on the front because you can see I put the seals on a few days ago, and you can see that they're already, you smooth them out with a Q-tip the best you can or whatever you want to use, and they're just going to peel up and look pretty horrible. So you can go and try to put those back down. But when you're putting seals on, especially older seals on round parts there, you pop out a little circle there when you're actually putting it around that jewel part, if you want to call it that. But this is going to look pretty terrible compared to the rest of the suit, where that purple is actually going to look sharp with the midnight blue. For the arms, you can see that they're just going to attach into the shoulders there with this very long piece in there, and this is going to go up and down, so you could be moving the arms and you're going to have the mount points up here for the shoulders on the arms themselves, not on the body. Now when you look at an elbow like this, you'd figure that you're going to get 2 points of articulation, but you don't. For the bend, it's only going to bend here, and you're not even going to get 90, so call it 75 or whatever you want. But it is somewhat interesting that it's going to rotate there just a few degrees off to either side, so strange choices there. Over here, the left arm is going to be different because it has the shield generator, or whatever you want to call it, to attach the clear parts onto. Down here for the hand, 3-finger trigger finger split, but the thumb is old school and is not going to move. You can't do anything like push the wrist inside. And you can see over here that you've got a sticker that even if you line it up the best you can, it's certainly going to bring the arm alive to have the 3 colors of purple there. Would be a lot better though if this was a nice purple part though that gets clamped onto the end, because this part, I believe, looking at the pro paint to one on the side, should also be purple. So this sort of looks like a 3-color variation where there should only be 1 and 2. The shoulders are certainly the most noticeable feature of this, and that's thanks in no small part to the fact that you're going to get these hoses that are attached on there. And if you don't know what I mean by old plastic, you can just sort of see that there's these little parts sticking off to the side. Just stuff that you're certainly less likely to get on newer kits. Lining opportunities there, but you're only going to have the 1 color. They're just 3 big pieces that you attach together. Make sure you follow the directions when you're figuring out which one goes on top and which one goes underneath. You can see where it's going to attach onto the shoulder there. And over here, if you wanted to go painting like a pro, you could certainly do that and get the Crossbone Vanguard one. But you can see that this is just a regular decal, not a water transfer. So if you put this on, there's going to be a lot of color. It's just unfortunate that it's going to be off to the side and not visible most of the time. For the shelf nozzle, it's a little bit disappointing that they figured that this was an advertising feature because it's really not that great overall. You can see that it's just going to fit in and slide down there. You've got 3 purple thrusters there, which are not going to move. Some little detailing up there, I suppose. But the way you actually attach it together is just to take this part. You can see it's just got a poly cap and you just stick it in there. And you can see that compared to almost any new backpack, which is going to have a much more complex wing attachment mechanism, this one's going to have next to nothing. In terms of the colors, you've also got to be pretty, or I'm pretty disappointed that these nozzles down here don't have the nice purple on there. Again, a nice purple part that would have just plugged in, would have seemed to have worked. And they don't give you any decals or anything to fix that up. Of course, a painter will just say painted, which is the easiest solution. And over here, though, for the mechanisms, you're going to be able to rotate this around, but for the back, all you can do is open it this way. So you can put it like this if you want to have a more dynamic pose, but outside of that, you're not going to be able to do too much besides bring it up and do this. So if you're thinking this is going to be a special feature, unless you want to put in some paint and completely redesign it, I don't think it's anything worth writing home about. The beam shield is sort of interesting though. It is rather large and it's in orange and it's got some nice little details in there. And you're going to have these 2 blue parts when you actually put it together, and when you squeeze them in, actually these parts are on the top part, if that makes sense. You just slide this bottom one into there, and when you take the forearm, you can see that this is going to attach in quite nicely and stay removed, so it's not going to get in the way of what limited mobility this arm is going to provide. And it's sort of interesting that it just sort of looks like it's got a generator keeping it separate, which actually adds a little bit of visual oomph to this, I think. But the Shot Lancers, the Crossbone Vanguards, and specifically Zabinet Charles' most famous weapon, so here I just put in a little bit of effort with the silver, although as you'll see, I should have put in a little bit more. Anyway, you're just going to have a big blue piece here, just put 2 parts on here. This part is going to attach on, and be careful because it feels like it can fall off. Here you're going to have just a pole that sticks through it, and if you want to stretch it out, you can see that this is just going to slide in as you pull this part out. And if you pull too far, I wonder if it's going to come all the way out. Anyway, I don't want to push my luck with that. But once you get down here, this is just purple parts otherwise, unless you add some silver paint like I did. But the only thing I can say is be careful when you're taping, because here I taped to this point and here I taped to this point, which means when it's actually put together, I've got silver in the wrong place. So that's going to need some touch-ups. The head is going to stand out, but I think it's only going to stand out if you take the time to paint these parts on the side, because they are unfortunately very dull in their original state. Overall though, if you're looking for color differentiation on this head, there's nothing to be found. You've just got big colors there. You've got the face paint, or the front part that you could, I suppose, paint in different colors if you wanted. But I am finding that the clear blue eyes actually give this guy a very unique and sort of ghost-like haunting image, which is very suiting considering that these guys mostly look like they all are wearing some sort of poison control masks. Also, when you look at the one painted by the Pro, there should be some nice purple up there, similar to the way the X2 has it on his head. So again, something that you'd want to paint along with all those other parts that were done in seals. Just disappointing again that they don't give you one, even though it would probably look pretty bad up there. But then again, it's better to have the option than to not. That'll wrap up my look at the parts for this Berga Giros, and you can just see that unless you add, I went for very minimal extra effort just with the silver and the yellow. But even then, what I really should have done is just painted the purple parts properly, because then that would fix the problems with the head. Back here with the shelf nozzles, adding the purple down below, and then you could get rid of this problem of having seals mixed with plastic. So anyway, if you want to go do that, you can do a lot of things. I also haven't applied the water slides, but unfortunately these aren't going to hide any of the problems that come with the old school plastic style and just the general lack of colors. All they're going to do is just add a lot of color to an otherwise pretty plain looking kit. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with it the way it is, I suppose, or like this. I'm not going to do any more painting before putting it together. So stay tuned for the next part where I'll have the mobile suit all together from these empty plates. And let me know what you think with a comment down below. Always love to hear from you. Robert184 Gundam.tk. Thanks for watching. See ya.